If you're using your Kleenex in your journal that we talked about last week, you may want to pull them out right now.
You're listening to the Creative Faith and Friends podcast, episode number 6.
Oh, I got you. There's no reason to chasing payment on my own, 'cause you're here to stay every night and day. I'm delighted 'cause I got you.
Well, welcome to the Creative Faith and Friends podcast. My name is Melissa Ohlson, and I'm here with my two co-hosts, Lauri. Hi, Lauri.
Hey, girly.
And Jessica. Hi, Jess.
Hey, y'all.
And we today are going to talk about creative block. When you just want to create, but you don't know what to create, you don't feel it, you just sit there and stare at the page. We're going to talk about how we get through that and some tips and ideas that we have. But first, we want to have Happy Mail time. And Jess, you've got some Happy Mail for us.
Yes, and this is from Melissa Makes 45. That was a review left on Apple Podcast. And she wrote, I loved listening to this podcast. From the opening song to the engaging and fun things they talk about. I feel like we are all sitting around my kitchen table, hanging out and chatting over coffee. They definitely have me coming back each week for more.
I love that. And I love our opening music. I'm telling you guys, it's total Gilmore Girls vibe. I love it.
Yeah, it totally reminds me of that too.
Still haven't watched?
Oh my gosh.
You haven't watched Gilmore Girls?
Just watch the beginning. Just listen to the music and see if it fits.
Okay, I'll try.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And also they love coffee and they're always in the coffee shop. So that makes me think of it too.
Yes.
I actually have a t-shirt that says, I like my coffee with my oxygen. That's one of the lines from the show.
Yeah, I love that show. It was a good show, Jess, when you have some time, which I know you don't, but you should watch it. It's a good show.
Between baseball games, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, well, thank you, Melissa Makes 45, for that sweet review. And if you have a review for us, or you want to just leave us a comment or a question, you can do that on Apple Podcasts, or you can leave it on the blog where we have our show notes. We have a blog there, and we try to always comment back and chat with you there. And you can even talk to us on Instagram or social media. We would love to hear your thoughts and your comments and your questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love hearing from you.
So let's talk about creative block. So first of all, creative block, I mean, I think everybody goes through it at some point. A lot of times it's when you're feeling really stressed, like not that life has been stressful for anybody lately, but
No, not at all. Mm-mm.
But that actually, I don't know if I want to tell the whole story, but one of the ways that Jessica and Lauri and I became friends was they were already on my team, but I was going through really horrible creative block when this whole pandemic thing started. And I basically just stopped doing anything. Yeah. And I didn't even communicate with anyone. I just couldn't handle life very well.
Yeah,
and
it's hard.
Lauri started emailing me like, where are you? What is going on?
I'm nothing if not persistent.
I'm like, I can't, I don't, and then, the business went kind of down because everybody was going through that. So there weren't a lot of sales. I wasn't even sure anybody was ever going to want to make anything again. I just felt, I was like, I don't feel like making anything. My customers probably don't feel like making anything. So and that's what I told Lauri. And Lauri was like, look, you just need to get making something. I don't care. Just make something. Yeah. And she just would not let me give up. And so I just started, okay, I got to just do something for Lauri, basically.
God, you needed a Lauri and a Jessica in your life.
Yeah. That's right.
Honestly, Melissa, Jess and I became friends because of the pandemic also.
That's right.
Really?
Yes. We started doing, what did we do, Jess?
Well, we were on the team for Melissa together, and we started communicating through that. And then we started the prayer. That's right. The prayer group.
Right. We were doing a prayer thing
on Facebook.
Yes.
And then watercolor. That's right.
That's what it was.
Yeah. I remember that Ingrid started the prayer group.
Mm-hmm. And I got 2 of my closest friends from it. Thank you very much.
Yeah. It was that was a rough period of time.
It really was.
It sure was.
And anyway, I guess I did tell the whole story, a lot of it. Well, I'm not sure where we left off there, but we had a little technical hiccup and we had to reboot some computers and things. So if we sound a little off, that's why. But I think that we were just talking about how the three of us really became close and became friends was because of my creative block, and Lauri and Jess would not let me just give up.
That's right.
I'm not sure I was going to give up completely, but I really did feel like I might need to close the business and just do something different. And when I look back on that now, even though it's only been a year, I can't even imagine that that's where I was, that I was that close to not doing this anymore, because now we've got the podcast and there's a lot of things in the works that everyone doesn't even know about. And it's just so exciting and fun. And I'm so thankful. I really believe the Lord put it on your heart to bug me.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And also, Jess, I also just heard that you and I are responsible for Pink Paper Peppermints still being around. So you're welcome, Melissa.
So honored right now.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yes. So if you like buying my products, then you should just tell Lauri and Jess.
It's all us. We're so humble about it too.
It's so humble. Oh, gracious.
I just wanted to tell that story mostly because, it's a real thing when you get in that place where you just, and then you get in it and it's very hard to get out of it sometimes because you're just like, I'm not creative. I've never been creative and I'm never going to be creative again.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get out of. So for you guys, has there been a time for you like that where you just felt like I'm not creative?
Oh my gosh. Yes. All the time. Oh gosh. Yeah. I often, if I don't have something specific to work on, I often feel that way because it's hard for me to just sit down and create just for the joy of creating. I'm trying to learn that process a little bit more, but it feels very disjointed to me and I don't know where to begin. And so to me, it's always helpful if I have a project that I need to work on, either a design team project, a Happy Mail project, a gift for somebody that I'm making. That always helps me, is to have something specific to focus on. So you could you can make a card, make a tag, just decide you're going to make a little something and try that, start there.
Yeah.
That's what's helpful to me.
That's a really good point to what you said about making a card. Like making something for someone else is something that can help get you out of it too.
Yes.
And in a way, that's what happened with us. Was for me, I was ready to just quit, but because you guys wanted me to not, I was like, well, I don't want to let them down. Let me just get this last kit done. And just creating for someone else sometimes can get you out of that, not focusing on yourself, but just focusing on someone else.
For sure.
Right.
And I think for me, it's, if I go through periods of time where I am really stressed or overwhelmed, I struggle. I know, initially the beginning of the pandemic was really difficult for me too. I was so overwhelmed and I tend to fixate on, unfortunately, the negative going on. If it's something that is in front of me all the time, it becomes almost a fixation, and that's not healthy and it's not scriptural, but it is me and a struggle for me. So a lot of times creative blocks come with that, whereas a lot of times I find my freedom from that and my escape from the overwhelming and the stress and be creative. So it's kind of a catch-22. I need to do it because it helps, but I feel like I can't because I get overwhelmed.
Yeah, definitely. And that kind of brings me to the first couple of tips that I have for me, which they only work if you do them. So for me, I wasn't doing these, and this is one of the reasons I got in that bad place. But meditating on the word is something that really helps get me out of that. Yeah. And when I say meditating, there's a lot of different ways that you can meditate, but one of the ways is to just write scripture. Just pick one and just write it. And if you want to try to put a little creativity in it, you can pick your favorite pink pen or watercolor and write it out that way. But just meditating on that word and just letting it kind of soak into you, it really I don't even know how to explain it. For me, it really changes my perspective, even if what I'm meditating on has nothing to do with whatever the thing is that I'm worried about. It still really affects my overall feeling. Does it do that for y'all?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
And then praise and worship music.
Yes.
And I know everybody has a different, I love old 80s praise and worship music because I was a teenager then and I got saved in the 80s. And so it's just like Keith Green and
Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Amy Grant.
Yes, Amy Grant.
Twyla
Chris
Paris.
Brown. Oh, Twyla Paris. I loved her so much. So like that kind of stuff, if I put that on too, that will immediately lift my spirit. And depending on where you are in your walk with the Lord, everybody believes differently, but I think that really pushes the enemy back too.
Absolutely.
And just makes it an unfriendly environment for him to kind of put stuff on you. So I think that is a huge help. So if you sit down with a big box of markers and your Bible and put on some praise and worship music, that is something that can really help just bust you right out of that. And then prayer, of course, just saying, Lord, I need something right now. I just feel, and I think that one I may have done because I feel like I was doing that when Lauri emailed me. I was like, I don't know what to do, Lord. And so I think that was from him.
Oh, I love that.
That's awesome.
Which helps me too, because then I know that the Lord used me,
Yeah.
I love that. I love knowing that.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard because you want to say something to someone, but you're like, I don't want to bug them or I don't want to, but I think anytime you feel that urge to write somebody and just say something, you should always do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. I think that's a really good point because I think sometimes we miss that still small voice that tells us what needs to be done,
And that could be the thing that, that person could be going through creative block and really need somebody to just give them a hand.
And I think that's a big part of it is if you're struggling creativity, find you some creative friends.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be in your community. I have a few people I know here that kind of like it, but they're not maybe as obsessed with it, I guess, as I am. I don't know what the right word would be there, or enjoy it as much. But God has provided me with creative friends online. I have y'all. Yeah. We have several, and I mean, all of us are friends with several other ladies who are creative, and it has just really shown me what a blessing social media can be. It's not always, and it's all in how you use it, but you can find people that like what you do if you look.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't really have many in-person friends that are into art the way we are.
No, I don't either.
And they always, it's funny because people who aren't creative, they just kind of smile at you and they have that kind of, wow, you have a lot of time on your hands.
Right.
They just, they don't get it and it doesn't make sense to them. So it's so nice to find people that get obsessed with the sound of paper when it crinkles.
Yes.
And what's funny is do y'all ever watch videos by May May?
Yes.
No.
On YouTube, her channel is May May Made It, and she is so sweet and cute. And she's got a craft store and she does craft videos. And then she also does like devotional videos. And she just did one where she said that she was talking about God will send you people. God will send people into your life. And so that's what I was thinking about when you were saying that, Jess, how in any other circumstance, we wouldn't maybe know each other.
Right.
But he sends you the people that he knows that you need.
That's right.
Yeah. And I think about too, how with the pandemic, how the timing lined up perfectly that we were all able to get to know one another. I mean, it's just, it's so interesting to me to see how God uses things.
I mean, you can even go a step further than that. Would we have ever gotten as close as we are now if we had not gone through quarantine and pandemic and dealing with the issues in the world around us?
Absolutely. Yep, for sure. Thank you, Jesus.
That's right. It's so proof how God can take a really bad situation, because we all know people who have been affected by the virus. We all know people who have been affected by the world circumstances, but he can take a bad situation and create good from it.
Amen. Yep.
And I think it's so important to look for that too, to look for the good, because if you focus on the bad things that are going on, you'll miss it.
Yes.
I mean, I could have almost missed it if I hadn't responded to Lauri and just kind of stayed where I was. I would have missed all of this. So, it's funny because I just put a little book in my journal. I just published a video today of my inspiration journal that we're doing for the podcast. And I made a little mini book, and the title on the front is Remember the Good, because I just wanted to keep like a little notebook. So when I do feel, the stress or the pressure of something bad going on, I've been trying to train myself to say, but what's good right now,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many good things. Like you said, Lauri, like my husband's working from home full time,
Mm-hmm.
which some days isn't the best, but most of the time.
Yes, it's great. Overall, it's pretty great.
Yeah, most of the time it's amazing to
Yeah.
have him here, and he's getting to spend so much more time with us, with my
Mhm.
son, and I can always find something that's good, but it's just you kind of have to train yourself to do that.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I'm not sure this has to do with creative blog, but it kind of does.
Yeah.
It does, because it opened my eyes to the reality that you do need people who will encourage you to do what you love.
Yes, absolutely. It reminds me of that quote. I'm trying to think of it. I hope I don't mess it up. It's a friend is the person that will remind you of the song in your heart when you've forgotten.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
When you forget the song in your heart, a friend is the person who reminds you. And it's like there's like a little bird, singing next to it. I think it was like on a keychain that I had.
It sounds like a Hallmark card. I love
Yeah,
it.
I think it was a Hallmark keychain that my friend gave me. And I've just always loved that quote because it's so true when you're feeling like, which I feel like that's what you guys did for me,
Aw,
Oh,
just wouldn't let me give up.
I love y'all.
I know. Me
Oh, it's a
too.
mushy episode.
It is. No
Aw.
kidding.
Y'all got some Kleenex? If you're using your Kleenex in your journal that we talked about last week, you may want to pull them out right now.
Or your toilet paper. Don't
your
forget about the toilet paper.
That's right.
Okay, so friends are important. And one of the fun things about the podcast is we've gotten to know some of you a lot better because of
Yes.
it.
Yep. Mhm.
And don't hesitate, to connect with us and with each other
Absolutely.
Yes.
through this. Let's use this as a way. If you're feeling isolated right now and you're feeling blocked, get on the blog. If you're not on Instagram, I know a lot of you aren't, it's not your thing, but you can get on the blog and leave a post and
Mhm.
we'll chat with you there.
Yep, for sure.
You can send us emails if you want to, and we'll chat with you through email. So if you're feeling isolated and alone, let's use this as a connection point. You can
Absolutely.
connect with us and we can connect you guys with each other, and we can help each other through this creative block
Absolutely.
situation.
Yep.
Yep.
I have no problem telling people what to do. If they need help
Boy, ain't that the truth.
getting started with something, I have no problem with that. I'm just putting that out there.
She ain't lying, girls.
He's not.
It's a gift. What can I say?
It is a gift.
Not really.
Well, it is. I mean, I think the Lord puts people together too that complement each other. Like sometimes Lauri and I need you to go, okay, here's what we're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Any more tips on creative block? Or we want to talk about our supplies, which are a little unusual this episode. We ready to talk about supplies?
Yeah, I think so. Jess, you got anything else? Jessica?
I'm sorry. Oh, it's on mute. I'm so technologically challenged. I need an assistant to sit here and handle the that thing.
Words.
Words.
Words and buttons. They get us every time.
Yes, words and buttons are a struggle. Yes, I had one more thing I wanted to add too.
Okay.
One thing that has helped me in the past is if I'm really struggling to start stencils, grab a stencil,
Mhm.
put something down, and it's just, you don't have to really think about a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
It creates it for you.
Mm.
Yeah. That's I've got that on our supply discussion.
My bad.
So-
That was not on my supplies. It was above it. I wrote it in the wrong spot.
well, that's where we are though. We're on supplies. so
Okay,
we're
we're good.
Oh,
So, Lauri, what about you? A supply that is good for creative block. Do you remember what yours is? Because I have it written down, but it sounds like you don't remember.
Yes. When I want to be in my craft room and I don't know what to do, I will sometimes fussy cut paper. because y'all, that makes my heart so happy. I love fussy cutting paper. I will find all of the things that I have printed out and still have to cut up, and it makes me so happy because I can watch a video and cut some paper, and I'm happy as a lark.
You do realize you just made my brain hurt, right?
I can't help that.
I don't want to cut fuzzy cut paper.
Oh, I love it. I don't know why, but I do.
I don't mind it too much if I'm like watching TV or something, but it's not my favorite.
Okay, well, send me all your things that you need cut for you, and I'll fussy cut them. I can't promise they'll be pretty, but they'll be cut.
You just said the wrong thing.
Bring it on.
Lauri's going to get a big old envelope full of
stuff that needs to be fussy cut.
Yeah.
Bring it on, girls. Bring it on.
Well, mine is, I don't know if this is a supply or not, but kind of. And I kind of call it stack and staple. And so when I'm feeling like, I don't feel creative, but I need to make something, I will get stuff that's on my desk, little scraps, or sometimes I have like a bowl of scraps from other things that I've made, and I'll just start pulling stuff out, a little piece of doily and a little piece of ribbon, and I'll just start stacking them up, and then just staple it with the Tim Holtz tiny attacher is my favorite, and like tulle, and if you do that for a few minutes, you start to have like this little pile of embellishments. And then sometimes just doing that will make me think of an idea that I want to make and get me out of it. That's when you're not in the deep creative block, when you're just in a kind of, I don't really know what I want to make.
Well, I'll tell you, Melissa, I have done just that because of you. I have seen you do that. And I love those little stacks that you come up with. I love them.
You are the queen of staple stacks.
Yes.
It's so fun too. And I love it when I'm digging through a bowl and like I find a word that was from something else. It doesn't, it wasn't even what I'm doing now, but it's like a typed word like pray and it's just like the perfect word for what I'm working on, or the perfect scrap. It's just, I really enjoy that. Those were our sort of supplies that we use to kind of break out of creative block. The other thing that we all talked about that helps us is watching videos. So what I did was I just found some of my favorite videos of Lauri and Jess's that I wanted to share with you, that I love watching. It inspires me to go make something similar or if not the same thing that they're making. And Lauri's, the ones that I love of yours, the first one is the pumpkin shaker that you made for Heart of Thanksgiving. And I ordered all the supplies, and I think I told you this. Mine did not come out like yours at all. So
what
I need
did yours come out like? How could it have been wrong?
It just didn't. The pumpkins didn't line up. It didn't look good at all. Yours was so cute. So I need like a remedial. Shaker help.
Okay, I have one question for you.
Okay.
When you cut out your outline, did you use tape on the two pieces that you were cutting?
Yeah, that was where I've never used those type of pumpkin dies before,
like
that
the nesting.
And I couldn't really figure out how to do it. And I taped it, and then the tape stuck to the paper. And then I wanted to say a bad word. It was just.
Yes, you do have to be a little selective on the tape that you use.
Yeah. I used washi because I thought that would work. But this washi didn't know it was washi. It thought it was real tape.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes this is just a quick little tip. Sometimes I'll take washi and put it on my pants a couple of times, put it on my
that's a good
jeans and
idea.
just pick up a little bit of lint or something that'll help to take away a little stick.
Yeah,
So,
that's a
That's
really good idea.
brilliant.
Thank you.
That shaker really inspired me. I really want to try and make some more. And at Christmas, I even ordered more nesting dies. They had Christmas trees that were like the pumpkins.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love that shaker so much. And I never even opened them because I kept having traumatic flashbacks about the pumpkin.
Okay, try again. And if we don't get it, I'll help you.
Okay. But anyway, that is a very inspiring video of yours that I like.
Completely agree.
It makes me want to go make shaky stuff every time I watch it.
Shaky stuff. I like it.
Shake.
And then your carousel, you did this 3D carousel.
Yes.
I guess die cuts. And oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
Thank you.
It makes me want to get my silhouette out. And that's really, you're inspired then, because that's a process getting here.
It is, and I'll tell you, that took a while. I'm not fast at crafting is not quick for me, but boy, that took some time, but it was fun.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful. Although
Thank you.
The little pearly, like, I don't know, what do you call those things? Little gems or whatever that you
Yes.
put on it.
Mhm.
And it was just so pretty.
Thank you.
And then you've got some little golden book journals that are amazing that I love. And
Thank you.
I feel a little bit like it's a little self-serving to mention it because you use a lot of my stuff in them.
I love your stuff.
But the journals are so beautiful. So they're very inspiring. So I wanted to pick things that I thought would inspire people when they need to be inspired. So, and then your scrap journal, you did that new scrap journal that you did is
Yes.
super gorgeous. So I will link all these in the show notes. I will link all these videos if you want to see any of them. And if you're not nesting die challenge like me, you'll definitely like that one. Now, so then Jess, the videos of yours that I love, which again, the shaker one that you did for My Heart of Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I loved that.
The
video.
shaker fall.
Yeah, I guess I just like shakers, but that was so fun. And I think I made one like immediately. I think it was like in my next video, which the pumpkin would have been too, except that like I said, I'm nesting die challenge.
Oh, that was a little sad for me to not see a pumpkin.
I know.
I made one.
I put a pumpkin in. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but I did use the pumpkin.
Yes,
I made like a little flat shaker, and now you know why. Because I couldn't do it.
I love that so much.
And then you've got a couple of junk journal ones that you did. They're like devotional junk journals.
Yep.
And when you did with vintage wallpaper, well, you didn't actually end up using it, but then the paper that you use kind of looks like vintage wallpaper. It's like these yellow roses. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yes.
And I loved that one. I loved how you kind of did a frame around the page.
Yes.
With the strips of paper, and it just looked so pretty. I loved that one.
I like anything grungy and vintagey. It's all me.
Yeah, I love vintage wallpaper so much.
Mhm.
I have spent way too much money on it.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
The reason I like your videos too is because you use so many supplies that I haven't used before. So I'm like,
Yes.
ooh, what's that?
Enabler to the rescue.
I know. You have one where you use pan pastels.
Yes.
Which I haven't used before. And I thought it was so cool because you did pan pastels with a stencil and then you sealed it and then you did watercolors over it. And I was like, I would never have thought of doing that. That it just looked so good. So that was another one of yours that I loved.
Oh, that's fun.
But I'll link all those in the show notes so y'all can go check them out too.
Yeah, and it's been so long since I've seen some of those. Even if I go back and watch some of my own, it will be like watching a new video.
I know that happens to me too. People will email me and say, hey, in your video on this, you said this. And I'm just like, oh no, I have to go find it. And because I have no idea what they're talking about. I can't remember because it's so long ago.
Oh gosh.
And then the other person I love is Jane Davenport. I love her supplies and her videos. Her videos to me are so like relaxing. I love her Australian accent.
Yes.
And she's very encouraging, she's like, this is no big deal. You can do this, and then she draws like a masterpiece.
Right. I tried to do some of those of hers. I have some of her books. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Do it. I'm just saying, I can't do it.
But she inspires me. Like she makes me want to go make something.
Yes.
Okay. What about you guys?
I think for me, if I'm looking on YouTube, then I'm looking at, if I could really get stuck when I watch videos, sometimes little bitty things just give me the best ideas, whether it's your staple stacks or Lauri stitched pages. I just like watching videos. So, your channel, if you go to the playlist, you can choose all different topics and it's just going to play the videos that go with that topic. And I love that because I don't have to go look for those videos. They're there.
Yeah.
And it's on, it's going to be consecutive. So I don't have to finish a video, then go to the next, then go to the next. It's going to do it for me.
Yeah.
And then definitely Lauri's stitched journal, the new one that's called Use Your Stash. That's one of my favorites because I still drool over that book. It was such a neat idea to use all of your scraps and stitching them together. It's just beautiful.
It is.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun to make. And full disclosure, that was completely inspired by another YouTuber. Her name is Melanie Sullivan, and she makes a lot of really beautiful things, but she just took one of the old, like an old decorating book and did something similar. And I thought, oh, that's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah.
And it was so
such a
much
good
fun to
idea.
make. Yeah.
Well, and it's amazing to me how you can take your scraps and turn them into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not like personally your scraps, but anybody could take your
Yeah.
scraps and it comes
Yeah.
out looking so put together and so
Mhm.
pretty because I just loved it. I loved it. And of course the pumpkin shaker, because then I had to buy all the shaker things and
know,
make
me
all the
too.
shakers. So
Yeah.
yeah, I have an issue with that.
Oh.
Then the one that's killing my pocketbook lately, I guess you could say, no, maybe kind of Tim Holtz lives lately.
Oh
'cause
my
he
gosh,
has
yeah.
been doing some amazing things with
Yes.
distress
Yeah.
products. And if it
Yes.
has the word distress in it,
It's ours.
y'all know what it does for me. It's my
Right there
jam.
with you. Mhm.
So-
Speaking of which, I just ordered a lot of Distress Oxide ink. So
They have my heart. They have for a long time. I love distress oxides.
Mhm.
But the distress embossing glazes, those are fascinating.
They are very interesting.
I have not tried those. So
Oh, don't.
apparently I'm going shopping again after this.
Just wait. I'm telling you, those are, they're wonderful.
They are pretty neat. I have a whole bunch of them. Melissa, I can hook you up with a good link for those.
And Hobby Lobby is starting to carry them.
Are they really?
Yep.
Ah.
Yep, the
That's awesome.
new line that's come out. They were in my store yesterday.
Okay, can we just talk about Hobby Lobby for 1 second? Why? Why no more 40% off coupons?
Oh,
It breaks my heart.
They're not having 40%
In
off
pieces.
coupons? I didn't know that.
No,
it's gone.
no more.
But the
Why?
sales are better.
I don't know. Have you noticed that? Because I really haven't noticed, but I haven't paid too much attention.
Oh no, they're better. Used
They
to
should be, because I was going to say, that's one of the things that bugged me about the coupons is they're not good on sale things. And then they would
Mhm.
put everything on fake sale.
Right. No, now
Yeah.
like Tim Holtz products are either when they put them on sale every other week now,
Yeah, and
they're
it's
either
40 off.
40 or 50% off. Yeah, that's a
50 would be better.
okay.
In case Hobby Lobby's listening.
You
they
know
want
their
our opinion.
coupon was only a 40% coupon. It wasn't 50% off.
Right. That's
Yeah.
true.
So now they put all the products on sale for 40% off. It's really a better deal.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's just having to wait for
Yeah.
until it goes on
You
sale,
can't
which is
just go get
sometimes
the
That
thing.
little
Yeah.
virtue of patience. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
girl, I don't have that. Have we not? Have we not met
Yeah, no.
before?
I don't either. I'm just trying to sound better than I am. Okay.
Right there with you. Anyway, sorry about that little rabbit hole.
You always take us down at least one, Lauri.
Oh, it's my gift. Oh boy, is it my turn to share mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's your
So-
turn.
You.
For sure, anything that you make, Melissa, I love.
Yes.
I love all
Aw.
your videos. I think the one that I have gone back to the most is how to make a little golden book journal. I actually made my very first one from your video, and
Aw.
it just made it seem so much easier to me. Like using fabric, I would have never attempted to use fabric on a cover of a journal if I hadn't
Yeah.
watched your video first. So that is one of my absolute favorites. For Jessica, I don't know why I don't know you have a YouTube channel. I feel like I should know this.
I'm a little
But I
hurt right
kinda
now, Laura. I'm
didn't.
kidding.
No, I'm
Because I hadn't
sorry.
done anything on it until recently in like 2 years. So,
But there is a video on there called Junk Journal 2 Layering for Texture and Effect that just makes my heart sing. It is this amazing journal. It's got little bits everywhere and it's fabulous. I absolutely love it. You are the queen of texture. And I
I
love
like
that.
texture.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that might be one of the ones I watched too.
Yes. And so Jessica, I'm just telling you, I'm going to go binge watch you. But that
Right.
one's going to be the first one that jumps on my list.
You know, this is sad. Like, I don't always remember what's on my channel. So
Oh, me neither.
Yeah,
I'm
me
just going,
either.
yeah, that's great. I'm so glad you liked it. And I'm like, I'm going to have to get back and watch that.
I
don't really
know.
remember what it is.
And my
Yeah.
third person, can I have 3?
Yeah, of course.
Her name is Stitches by Julia. And y'all know I don't stitch on anything but paper or craft fabric. I couldn't think of that word. Craft fabric I'll stitch on. For
Word
crafting I will stitch on
problems.
something. Yeah, word problems. We should just have a podcast word problems. I learned how to free stitch, I think it's called, where your foot doesn't guide your. Do you know what I'm
Yes.
talking about, Melissa?
Oh yeah, I know
Anybody?
what you're talking about. Yeah, you have to have a special foot for it.
quilting foot or something. But you can go in all the directions and it doesn't make, it's not weird. So I learned that from her, and she makes gorgeous like fabric cluster embellishments. And I just absolutely love her. She does something called, have you all heard of slow stitching?
Oh yeah. I love that.
I had never heard of that before. So I was enamored with that as well. So I really like her channel a lot as well.
I've heard of a flow book.
Huh?
Oh, you said slow stitching. Never mind. Forget that. Words.
Hashtag podcast word problems.
Can we talk about the hearing issues that go on?
We've already got enough issues. No more
Don't
issues.
make fun of me.
Okay, that was all I had.
Okay, so videos, we think videos are really fun. For creative block, sometimes you just don't feel like making anything, but watching someone else make something. And we were talking about this earlier. I don't know if we were recording this or if it was just us talking. I can't remember. But I was saying how when you watch a cooking show, you in there make tacos, then you're like, I really need tacos now.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
And so it's like that with crafty YouTube videos. You can watch them and they can really help you just be like, okay, yeah, I think I feel like making that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So are we ready for fun finds?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you've ever tried to figure out how to organize all of your digital crafting supplies after you've printed them, I have come up with the solution. Okay, not really, but I really do like my solution for now anyways. I bought a whole bunch of those maybe 9x12 poly envelopes from Amazon, like the clear poly what?
Envelopes.
Polyvinyl.
Polyvinyl. Yeah, I don't know. It's poly something envelopes.
Plastic.
Yeah, it's plastic. But they are great. They have a little snap on them, and you can just, you tuck your stuff in there, put a label on it so pink paper peppermints, whatever. So what was that called? So crafty? No. So
easy.
Camera?
No, so easy. Okay, let's just scrap that part out.
I'm still trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Me too. Okay.
This is going to be a much shorter episode if I scratch all of it.
No, you can't scratch it.
Oh gosh. Okay, so you just slap a little label on it with the name of your kit, and I put it in a file cabinet. I have a legal size, the ones that file cabinet. Words. I have a legal size file cabinet, and I just kind of started storing them there, and it seems to work really well so far. I'm not full, and I've got a lot of space, so I like it right now.
Yeah, it's such a good idea because you get all the little pieces that you've cut out, and regular file folders, whenever you pick them up,
they'll fall right out.
Go everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can also put whole sheets in there too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I find myself using a lot of plastic baggies as well.
Yeah, those are helpful.
But I tuck them in the poly envelope, and then I'm good to go. I know where everything is. So, and if I have to go back to some kit for, say, Half Price Wednesday has a kit coming up, I think, oh yeah, let me go see what I've got printed out, and then I don't have to reprint the whole thing. Yeah, that's great.
That is a great idea. And the other thing that is good for too, if you have them organized like that, you can mix kits up too.
Yeah.
It's easier than trying to remember what you have or trying to look in the files. You can flip through your envelopes and say, ooh, this would probably match this. And you can put two different kits together. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And I love doing that.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
Okay, Jess, what's your fun find?
Mine kind of has to do with overcoming creative blocks, but also for those of us who might be artistically challenged in drawing. I love the book Botanical Line Drawing by Peggy Dean. I have one of the first editions because I can really feel like I'm in a creative slump and sit down with that and sketch out step by step some of the flowers in that book or leaves or whatever. And it just kind of, it makes my mind work, but it also helps your hand create memory and drawing and different things of that. I feel like I've come a long way from using tools like that, and her books are my favorite.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have that one on my wish list. So
I know I do.
You should, yeah.
Probably going to buy that one next.
This podcast is becoming very expensive, girls.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. It sure
Maybe
is.
some of our fun finds need to be side of the road junk finds.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you get sponsors for podcasts? How does that work? Can you monetize a podcast?
We're going to need one.
Yeah. Oh.
So, okay, well, my fun find is a book again, and it's called The Blank Canvas, and it's by Anna Held Audette, and I will link it in the show notes. But it's a very short, tiny little book, which I guess my last one was too, so maybe that's a theme with me. It's so good. And she talks about the blank canvas as far as, staring at a blank canvas and not knowing what to do. So she talks about creative block. She talks about finding your style. She talks about overcoming difficulties when you're working and you think it's not good, like inner critic stuff. I mean, it's a really good book. I got it many years ago. I didn't realize how much it had informed the way I work and like some of the ways I've been able to kind of get free of some of that until I got it out for the podcast and I was reading through it again. I mean, it's highlighted. Almost the whole thing is highlighted, which is so funny because what's the point, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you highlight the whole thing, but so much is highlighted and I've got notes in the margins and stuff. And I wrote this, like when I first got the book, like not 20 years ago, I don't know, 1990. No.
Pretty
90?
close to 20 years ago, as I recall.
Oh my God.
Wasn't it 2000?
2003.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's close to 20 years, which like you said, I couldn't even read then because I'm only 20, so I don't know how that happened.
Exactly.
So I'm saying, don't you remember? You're not that old.
Yeah. But when I read through my notes and I read the stuff that I highlighted, I was like, wow, that really impacted me. I see that in my work now. I see that in how I work and what I do, that it really, really impacted me. And I love that. I love that, because a lot of times you buy a book and you read it or you read part of it and it doesn't really impact you,
Yeah.
So this is just one of those ones that the corners are bent and it's highlighted. And if you need something to get you out of that place, it's just a really good book.
Oh my gosh. Let me just click that into my cart. Yeah.
Right.
Thanks, Mel. Oh, gracious.
Okay, so let's talk about our challenge for this week. We are doing a series on creativity. And so we are doing 5 daily challenges between now and next week. We did 5 last week, and our theme was paper. And this week, our theme is journal techniques. And so we've got 5 journal techniques for you. And they are, and again, I will put these in the show notes and I will make a little graphic for you. But they are pockets, tags, die cuts, stamps, and collage. So you can combine these all, or you can use one every day or however you want to do it. But what we encourage you to do is do something small with one of these every day for the next 5 days. And what our goal is with this was for us to basically for 15 days, we do something creative every day. And because that's a great way to get out of a creative block.
For sure.
We also started our new challenge word. We had a word last week was new, and our word this week is grow. So you can use that, literally put that word actually in your page, or you can just use it to kind of inform and inspire what you do. But we just wanted to give you an additional kind of challenge that would help give you some parameters on what to create. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
It will. And let's go back to the die cuts for just a minute, because Lauri and I had a heated discussion on this.
Oh, that's right.
Not everyone has die cuts.
Yeah, also known as shapes.
I liked my shapes.
That's
Gone,
right.
Lauri. Anyway.
Oh, Jessica.
Right. Originally on the list, it said shapes, and I changed it to die cuts at Lauri's.
Because Lauri thought it sounded better.
It does sound better. But if you don't have die cuts, you can fussy cut.
Because you can use those.
Yeah. Heart, circle, square, rectangle, whatever you want.
That's right.
Or you can use punches.
Yes. Use punches.
If you don't have.
However you can get a shape out of paper, you can use it.
Yeah. And then also, I have a special printable that I have designed to help you with creative block that will be going out to my newsletter subscribers. They will actually, by the time you hear this, they'll already have it, but I will try and send it out one more time. So if you subscribe to the newsletter, you're going to get a special printable that will go along with this episode.
Yay!
Yay. Okay. So the last challenge we would like to try and give y'all this week is when you create something that you have learned about from our podcast, if you would hashtag Creative Faith and Friends on Instagram, we will start doing a giveaway to one random person a week that will be either something from Melissa's shop or something that one of us has made or something wonderful for you to have. So we would love for you to start using our hashtag. You can tag us if you'd like, or just hashtag us up.
Yeah, and we want to see what you're making. So
yes, please.
And my experience has been with things like this when you first start, not that many people are doing it. So your chances of winning are a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
So make something cool and hashtag us Creative Faith and Friends, and you might be the winner.
Yay.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that you enjoyed the conversation. I know that we certainly enjoyed it.
It was something.
Before we go, we want to share with you where you can find us online. Lauri, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram or YouTube at Measure Once, Cut Twice, with periods in between each word.
And Jess, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram and YouTube at Just Give Me Jesus, and on Etsy at Choose Joy in Jesus.
And of course, you can find me at pinkpaperpeppermints.com on Instagram and my blog and YouTube, all the same, pinkpaperpeppermints.com. Thank you guys again for joining us, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. Have you ever experienced creative block, and how did you handle it? Do you have tips or ideas? Let us know in the comments on the blog so we can share your thoughts and opinions during our new Happy Mail segment. And be sure to use the hashtag Creative Faith and Friends on Instagram when you post your creativity challenges so we can see your journal and you might win a prize. You can find links to everything we talked about in our show notes at pinkpaperpeppermints.com/006. I'm Melissa Ohlson, and I hope you have a week filled with peace and grace, and we will see you next time on Creative Faith and Friends.